When I was in my early teens, I stayed up all night writing a screenplay and felt something to this day I swear I cannot get enough of. It was as close to the feeling of flying as I have ever had. You know what I mean when you're trying to get the words on paper and you're 3 thoughts ahead of yourself and it's a race to get it all down before it goes back to wherever that stuff originally comes from. And it was called inspiration. And I actually made a movie from that script I wrote all night, and it was called Firelight. And it was truly an awful movie. But the process was what it was all about. The experience of that obsessive focus, of having an idea and actually being able to photograph it. That's been the magic potion for me ever since.
Steven Spielberg is a world-renowned director and screenwriter famous for pioneering modern cinema. His influence can't be understated, as his reach can be seen throughout all corners of the industry. He directed many blockbuster films such as E.T., Jaws, and Raiders of the Lost Ark, which each of his movies became an event that everyone had to watch, as his films appealed to both children and adults alike. As well as shaping the current climate of cinema, he pioneered the techniques behind them, with many of his innovative techniques rolling out characters and their emotions. His knowledge of directing is one of a kind, and it began from his youth.
They're talking about you, boy, but you're still the same.
Born to pianist Leo Order and computer engineer Arnold Spielberg, Stephen Allen Spielberg was introduced to the world on the 18th of December 1946 in Cincinnati, Ohio. At a young age, Steven Spielberg recalled that he was always watching television, which grew to be a part of him.
His parents, especially his mother, created his passion for film by taking him to watch movies like The Searchers or The Greatest Show. Cinema and the culture surrounding it became engraved in Spielberg's very soul. His childhood was hectic, with his family always moving around due to his father's work. This meant Spielberg never fit into any school and always found himself as the outcast. However, thanks to this, he spent a lot of time with a camera in his hand and was able to discover a passion for film. As a child, he recorded everything around him using his home camera. He filmed his life on trips with his family or events that occurred, but realized that he wanted more, so he began experimenting with camera techniques. His ambition grew as he realized what he could do with a camera in his hands, which led him to create his first feature-length film, Firelight, a 2-hour and 20-minute-long epic about an alien invasion. On a budget of $500, he was able to make the film and show it at his local theater, the Phoenix Little Theater, where he ended up making $1 profit off the film. "I counted the receipts that night," Spielberg recorded, "and we charged $1 ticket. 500 people came to the movie, and I think somebody probably paid $2 because we made $1 profit that night, and that was it." This, however, would not be his last undertaking in filmmaking. He continued his career down in directing as he created the short film Amblin, which won the Venice Film Festival. This gave him a 7-year deal with Universal and began the very first steps into his immortality in pop culture. However, his style is what cemented his immortality. Steven Spielberg's style is unique as it has inspired and influenced many modern-day directors, hence an avid movie watcher will be able to recognize many of the tropes that he has pioneered. Here, I'll be establishing his style, but later on, I'll be showing examples by analyzing a selection of his films. His most recognizable technique goes by many names, but I'll dive into Spielberg's there, as I'm a sucker for alliteration. Spielberg utilizes this in all his films as a way to not only show a character's emotions, but to also tease the audience, leading to an increase of attention in the viewer. This is a combination of acting and camera, since the technique follows the idea of having the camera close up to the actor's face to probably portray their emotion. Another signature of Spielberg's style of directing is how he establishes his characters and how they develop alongside the audience. Each of his characters has a journey that they go through, and as previously stated, his emphasis on the character's emotions allows for the expression of how they change throughout the film. Spielberg utilizes a mixture of codes and conventions to portray to the audience the growth of a character without stating it. Building upon that, Spielberg prefers the show not tell way of directing. In most cases, he would rather have the audience experience the current situation instead of someone saying what's going on. An example of this would be in The Terminal, where we see Tom Hanks' character's reaction to seeing his country in turmoil. This scene not only reflects the other techniques used like showing the emotion of a character, it works better emotionally as instead of the character saying that he's sad, the audience can physically see it and hence respond better to it. To increase the emotional connection between the viewer and the film, Spielberg utilizes music fantastically, as a lot of his projects are usually composed by the genius John Williams. Not only does he make use of his soundtrack brilliantly, as the music fits the scene, which a lot of directors do, but he also knows when to use silence. Sometimes silence can be louder than words, and in this scenario, it will be louder than music, since the lack of music can emphasize what the characters are doing or saying. This disappearance of music usually resonates with a dramatic scene, further building that emotional link. All of these techniques combined show that Spielberg prefers to put importance on the characters and their emotions, so the viewer can experience the story through their point of view. One of the best films that reflects upon his usage of emotion is the emotionally dramatizing Saving Private Ryan. Saving Private Ryan is a 1998 war drama starring Tom Hanks as Captain John Miller, who is tasked with leading a small platoon to find and save Private James Ryan, Matt Damon, in World War II France. Winning 5 Academy Awards, it is known to be one of Steven Spielberg's best films, being a hit with critics and audiences alike, as the film boosted almost $500 million in box office revenue. Due to its war setting, Saving Private Ryan places substantial attention on the characters and the struggles so they grow emotionally, because a clear mark of Spielberg's directing style is how he portrays the characters' growth through the usage of film techniques. For this movie, the character who grows and changes the most is Upham. Upham acts as a link between the audience and the characters, since he is the only innocent one who hasn't gone through the horrors of war yet. However, as the film progresses, the drastic circumstances grow more and more, pushing Upham into more compromising situations. The climax of his character involves 2 scenes that reflect Spielberg's directing style of emotional impact. Spielberg shows us one of Upham's comrades, Mellish, fighting a Nazi and him on his way to save him. We, as a viewer, expected during the climax of the fight scene for Upham to show up and save his friend. However, the scene ends with Upham breaking down the stairs as the Nazi run past him, realizing that his friend is dead thanks to his lack of help. Spielberg shows Upham's hesitation in saving his friend to the viewer by displaying his worried face and then panning down to his gun that he clenches awkwardly. His usage of camera in the scene is meant to portray to the audience how inexperienced and anxious he feels about the situation. After the Nazi walks past Upham, we get a prolonged shot of him collapsing on the stairs crying. This haunting shot of him has no music and no other sound except his sobbing. The mixture of acting, audio and camera reflects on his emotions and how he reacts upon the death of Mellish. All in one scene, we see him finding out about his death and reacting to it without the use of words. This encapsulates Spielberg's usage of show not tell. A few scenes later, Upham re-meets a Nazi that he freed despite killing another one of his platoon members just to find him fighting for the Nazis again. The Nazi acts friendly, but to reflect his character growth and development, the shot lingers on Upham as he shoots him. Instead of showing the Nazi falling to his death, the viewer instead hears it as we watch Upham's reaction of him unfazed, showing how much he has been affected by the war. Upham is originally shown to be a coward, but in this scene, Spielberg shows how little hesitation he had, symbolizing his growth. This author uses Spielberg's stare for Upham's full emotional reaction. The conflicts that arise in Saving Private Ryan allow for deep emotional moments that Spielberg exploits by using acting, camera and audio to impact the viewer, which in turn creates a more compelling narrative. On to Minority Report.
There's only one beer left. Rappers screaming all in our ears like we're deaf. Tempt me, do a number on a label. Beat up all the MCs and drink them under the table like it's on me. Put it on my tab, kid, however you get there. Foot it, cab it, iron horse it. You leave it on your face, forfeit. Across the mic, hold it like the heat, he might toss it. Told her, tell him they stole it.
Do you know what I hear? Nothing. No footsteps up the stairs. No hovercraft out the window, and no clickety-click of little spiders. Do you know why I can't hear any of those things, Danny? Because right now, the precogs can't see a thing.
Getting no seeds, it's like eating watermelon. Stay spitting new seeds.
Minority Report is a 2002 sci-fi thriller starring Tom Cruise, who is a cop that deals in stopping murders before they happen thanks to future visions. One day, they preview him killing someone in the future, so he must go on the run from his former department to prove his innocence. This film is considered to be one of the more underrated films from Spielberg, as it isn't talked about as much as its predecessors. However, it still perfectly encapsulates his style of directing and made over $350 million at the box office. Even if the film is futuristic, opposing the last film setting of World War II, Spielberg's style of directing remains prevalent as we see the techniques he uses as Tom Cruise's character, John Anderton, experiences the events of the movie and how he grows thanks to them. One of the most important scenes in the film is when Anderton's reality syncs up with the vision of the murder he commits, as this is what the whole film has been leading up to. This scene utilizes many codes and conventions. For example, Nissan's scene is used to show that the victim of Anderton is a murderer and kills children, hence his bed being covered in photos of the youth he has murdered. The way he utilizes this is by having props involved, as the photo of the protagonist's son is grabbed from the pile on the bed. This once again portrays the style of show not tell, as instead of having the murderer say he killed his son, it is shown to the audience and they can infer it using context clues. Here you can also see how Anderton reacts to finding out about his son, since he reacts to the photo at the same time the audience does, building upon the emotional value that Spielberg wants from the viewer. Further on in the scene, as it appears Anderton is about to kill his son's murderer, the emotional connection between the viewer and protagonist is used again by Spielberg, as instead of killing the man, he arrests him, breaking down in the process. Right before he spares him, the music crescendos to a climax, from a fast-paced, intense song to silence, when he's meant to kill him. The usage of audio here reflects how emphasis should be placed on the character and to build suspense, as a quiet atmosphere doesn't alert to the audience what might happen. Acting and camera placement further enhance the emotional stake of the scene, as we get the Spielberg stare from Anderton while he states the remembered rights to the criminal. The whole time he is softly whispering and panting, showing how emotionally distraught he is, as well as not blinking the entire shot to fully express his sorrow. Spielberg also uses this as a way to show Anderson's character Griff, as in the vision he murders him, while in reality he makes the moral sacrifice of not getting the justice his son deserves, further building upon the emotional drama for the scene. This scene in total reflects the essence of Spielberg's style of directing, since it encompasses all his signature techniques. The way he directs is meant to inflict the audience with an emotional connection with the character, and only in one scene he can reflect upon this. Spielberg's style of directing has become so iconic to the point where every director nowadays has a piece of Spielberg in them. Due to the emotional connection that Spielberg establishes, his movies grow from just a video on a screen to an experience that elevates the idea of what film can be. His library of motion pictures and influence on cinema will no doubt live on for eternity because Steven Spielberg has cemented himself as one of the greatest directors of all time. Hey guys, bit of a different video because I made this for school a while back and I thought it'd be a fun upload to put on. So yeah, I hope you guys like this. Like and subscribe if you like it, and comment down below what you thought of it, and if I should make more video essays like this, or if I should stick to my regular content. See ya!